Hello, dear moms. In this video, we will talk about anxiety. Anxiety is my favorite topic because I'm very familiar with this. So in this video, we will talk about how to help your anxious child to be his own coach, what to do when you have an anxious child, and what to avoid saying when you have an anxious child. This video is not about giving you tips on how you can eliminate your child anxiety. It is more about giving you the tools on how your child can manage anxiety. It is essential for parents to remain calm and positive when confronting with a child anxiety. The way you respond to your child fears, to his negative thoughts, to his behaviors, can set up for successful coping with anxiety or increase his anxiety. So let's start. Don't avoid doing things that scares your child. Don't avoid them because makes your child feel anxious. Obviously, this is a huge trigger for anxiety. I'm not saying force your child to do all those things that he's afraid of, that makes him scared. But in the same time, you don't have to avoid doing every single thing that provoke your child anxiety. If you encounter a stressful situation, don't take him out of there. Don't remove the things that he is afraid of all the time. Because if you do this all the time, then your child will learn avoidance. He will start to use this technique repeatedly every time when he feels scared or every time when he worries. Express positivity, be realistic, and explain expectation. You can't promise to a child that his fears are not going to come true. You can't promise that he won't fail a test or another child won't tease him during his time in school, that he will always going to win for his team and so on. What you can do is to ensure your child that no matter what happens, he's going to be okay. You can tell that he is able to manage everything and that once he faces his fear, once he's taking the first step in face that fear, then he will notice that that fear go away, that anxiety decreases. This will give him confidence that your expectations are realistic and that you are not going to ask him to do the things that he can't handle, or you are not going to be disappointed if he fails on something. Listen and be empathic to your child. Help him understand what he is anxious about and encourage him to feel that he can face his fears. But again, you need to be realistic and say that this might take time. Don't make him understand that the fear won't go away from the first try. He has to try a few times, 4, 5 times, until the fears go away. The message you want to send should sound something like, I know you are scared, but that's perfectly okay. I'm here to help you. Sometimes one simple thing, one simple small success can help the child to change from I can't do it to I can do it attitude. It can help your child to see and convince himself that he can thrive, even if the results are not the ones that he wanted. Don't ask your child questions that have kind of suggestions, the answers in. Encourage your child to talk about his feelings, but try not to ask leading questions. Don't try to ask those questions that have a suggestion. For example, are you nervous for your first day of school? Are you scared for the first visit to doctor? Are you afraid of what those children might say about you? Are you afraid that they might not like you or make fun of you? Instead, ask questions like, how are you feeling about starting school? What are your thoughts on those children? Can you tell me more about what is worrying you? How are you feeling about starting football or swimming lessons? Be an example of someone who can handle anxiety, fear. Let your child know that you have fears as well. Let your child know that their teachers, their grandparents have fears as well. This will relax your child a little bit, knowing that he's not the only one that freaks out when he has to do something new. So talk to your child and let him know that you can handle it and how you can handle it. Show him how you handle it. For example, you can say to your child that you are afraid of wind, and when you see that the wind it starts outside, you feel stressed. But you are going to take some deep breaths and saying that everything is gonna be okay. Kids are like sponges. They are taking everything in. They are watching us. Every step that we take, the way we talk to people on the phone, the way we talk with the strangers on the street, the way we handle tough situations, if we are complaining, when a friend is coming to our house, the words that we are saying, even if they are playing. So make sure your child is not around you when you complain to a friend that you just can't handle this situation, that your boss stresses you out, that this situation is too stressful for you. I'm not saying to pretend that you don't have stress and you don't have fears, but let your child hear that you manage the situation calmly, that you are moving through this tough, hard, stressful situation. Often offer tools to your child to help him handle the stressful situations, to when he feels anxious, because let's face it, we can't be all day with them, so we need to give them the tools to help himself, to coach himself. Journaling, it is my number one tool, that I'm using when my mind starts to worry, to look for all those negative things that might happen every time when I want to do something that I never did before. Journal about what is making your child anxious and brainstorm ideas of what you can do to help him face it, and what solution you can give to your child to empower him, to help him. Um, the tools that I'm using is asking questions. For example, when you are journaling with your child, ask him, what is that you are scared of? Why are you so afraid? What can you do if this is going to happen? What is the worst thing that can happen? What is the most important for you? To do what makes you happy, or to avoid all the times those things that makes you scared? Now let's go into the things that you should avoid. Stop saying to your anxious child. Believe me, these are very powerful. Don't worry. Your child's anxiety won't go away by telling him not to worry. He is already worried. A better approach is, can you tell me more about your worries? Another thing that you should avoid to say to your child, it's not a big deal. Anxious children know that their worries are big deal. They worry for the things that might happen to them. For example, they worry if he won't win the game for his team, if his peers might stop talking to him, if he won't pass that test, if I will fall and break my leg. For children, these worries are big deal. So That's why it is good and important to ask the child what is that worries him and give him a positive answer back to calm him down. That's why it is very important to have a very good communication with our children. Every time when you see him worry, try to say, I see that you are feeling a little bit scared or anxious, that you worry about this. Let's take some deep breaths together and see what we can do to get rid of this worry. Another thing that you should stop saying to your child if he is anxious, you will be fine. Anyone who has ever experienced anxiety or panic attacks, they know that fine is not something that resonates with an anxious mind. When a child anxious mind, it is all over. He thinks to all the negative things that could happen. He doesn't feel close to is going to be fine. A better way to help your child is to say, I am here to help you. Another thing that you should avoid saying to your child, there is nothing to be afraid of. Anxious kids have plenty of fear, not just anxious children, adults as well. Fear of judgment, fear of peer rejection, fear of failure, fear of mistakes, fear of changes, and the list can go on. So this phrase, there is nothing to be afraid of, won't stop anxiety, won't stop fears. So instead, help your child to communicate his fears, taking out his negative thoughts, talking to someone that you know that is loving you, you know that is always going to be there with you, doesn't matter what happens, will support a person that has fears, will decrease his fears. You can say, let's talk about your let's talk about what scares you. Another thing that we should stop saying to an anxious child is, I will do it for you. Everyone, adult, child that is anxious wants to confront their worries, wants to confront their fears. They want to do all those things that they love. They want to be more sociable and they want to have more friends. But these anxious thoughts, these negative thoughts get in their way. Of course, as a parent, when you see your child struggling, your first instinct is to jump and fix it, do those things for them. But this kind of approach doesn't help the child to build coping skills. Every time when he feels scared, you can say positive affirmations such as, I know you feel scared, but I know you can do this, and I'm here to support you. Doesn't matter what happens. Another thing that you should avoid, we all should avoid, saying to our children when they worry is, stop thinking about it. Trust me, your child will love to stop thinking anxious thoughts, negative thoughts. The problem is that it is very, very, very difficult to interrupt the anxious thoughts. It took me years to fight with them. And sometimes, even now, I have to fight with them. Again, you need to communicate with your child, help him to get rid of these anxious thoughts, because anxiety, it starts from our mind. It doesn't come from our ears, it doesn't come from our hands, it doesn't come from our legs. It starts here. So help your child to deliberate his mind from these negative thoughts and try to implement positive ones. I don't know what you need, or I already told you what you have to do. This is another thing that we should avoid saying to our children. Parenting an anxious child, it is very, very difficult and often very exhausting. But your child needs you to remain calm when he is scared. If you judge him, if you love him, if you say words like there is nothing to be afraid of, don't be silly, there is nothing bad is going to happen. If you express hopelessness, your child anxiety will increase. Um, will increase, and he will think more and more negative. So you should say, let's see what are the ways that can help you to calm down you and your mind when he has these negative thoughts. These are my ideas on how you can help your child to move through his anxiety. All what I want to say is to be patient. It takes time. Took me years. But if you start from at a very early age, they have more chances to get rid of anxiety. If you liked this video, then press the like button. If you have any ideas, any tips on how you can help your an anxious child, leave them in the comment box, and share this video to help more parents and children move easily through their fears, their anxiety, because believe me, this is a very, very tough problem to fight with. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.